y'all. Welcome back to Rich Mama's Club. Look, hopefully we won't have any technical difficulties. I see it like doing a little bit, but I'm gonna push through y'all and look and see how it goes, okay? Because sometimes this tech have a mind its own. If you don't know who I am, my name is Brittany Raji Alberty. I'm the founder here at Rich Mama's Club, and today's guest, y'all, I absolutely love. Like, if you could just your favorite dessert that you would just choose to eat. Like, I mean, that's such a weird analogy, but like that thing that you just like really love. Like, I love her energy. I love what she created. I think she's an amazing mom. I think she's uber resilient, super smart. And I'm super excited to have this conversation with her. If you are here in St. Louis and you have ever come to any of our meetups, we actually did a meetup in 2023 at one of her former locations. She has a new location, y'all. The owner of Buzz Bull Creamery in St. Charles, Missouri. Welcome, y'all, Miss Ellen Tisdale. Welcome. How are
That's probably
you?
the best intro I've ever had. I really like it.
Stop it, girl. Look, you are like so dope. I don't think so. But yes, look, loved it. Okay, so Ellen, look, I'm excited to have this conversation because you're a mom, you're a toddler mom, and you have a preschool child that is in private school.
Man.
Which is a whole nother situation that I have not talked about yet on the podcast. So we're gonna get into this private school as an entrepreneur. Because look, people don't be like, oh, you own your own business. They think we got big money, and they don't know this
I'm
big
saying.
business come with big bills.
Say it, girl. Look.
They come with big bills, y'all, and y'all be thinking we out here cap. I had to tell somebody, and then let me not count your pocket, but I just had to tell somebody for the folks in the back that don't be what you think it is. It don't be what you think it is.
No.
Look, so I'm so excited to get into this transparent conversation. You're not a native, right?
No, I'm actually from Austin, Texas.
Okay. Oh, so look, one of my girlfriends was on here from Austin. She just moved to Austin, but she's from Chicago. So look, okay, so tell us, you are Austin native. Tell us just some of your background. You came up here from Texas. I heard everything's bigger in Texas. Look.
True. I literally have a sign. Well, you can't see it right now, but it's on my other wall. Says that. Exactly.
I love it. Okay, so tell me about your upbringing and, grew up in Austin.
I'm from Texas, true Southern Belle. That's just me. I went to undergrad at Tuskegee University in Alabama. I went to grad school at Iowa State. So it's already Texas, Alabama, Iowa. My first job was in Minneapolis. It kept just going further and further north. I was in Minneapolis for about a year, and then I moved to St. Louis in 2016, and I've been here since, and I really like it here.
Okay, look, she done been all over the place, y'all. Like, you probably have moved more than me. I'm usually the person who's like, yeah, I'm from St. Louis, but I lived in California, and I lived in Charlotte, I lived in North Carolina, I lived in Illinois, and I lived back home. So, like, I've been to, lived in every time zone. It's not like you have too, almost. Like,
just about you.
So, what brought you to St. Louis?
So I was a researcher with Purina out at the farm in Grace Summit. So I was one of the research analysts in the companion animal unit, and I loved it. It was so much fun working on the farm.
Wow, I've never heard anybody say that before.
Well, I really love animals. So, it's dirty work. You got to be there at crack of dawn, right? You're probably going to get pooped and peed on, but I didn't mind. It was fun.
Wow. Okay, I'm here for it. So y'all met somebody from Texas that left the Texas beautiful weather. And Austin is a beautiful city, so I've heard. I've not been there. I heard it has some different landmarks than other cities. Like, the landscape is just different. It's more green. So I've heard. I'm gonna have to pick your brain about that, because I knew you were from the South, but I ain't know Austin. Because you chose to leave somewhere with like this. That's like a top city where people are moving to now.
I know, it's not even the same. When I do go home, I'm just like, what is this place? Who are these people?
Look, they ain't from there. Look. How about who this woman? Look,
right.
Okay, scientist background then, right? Science background. So you said you were a researcher. Now, I don't want to say scientist. Tell me what exactly you did in science.
So my undergraduate degree is in biology. My graduate work is in genetics. I worked in a cancer lab using zebrafish as a model organism. So all of my research centered on blood vessel development. And that's kind of what led me to Purina because I was working in animal health. So because I had that complex understanding of how blood vessels form and different factors that can contribute to it in aquatic species, it was kind of a natural progression for me to then go more into animal health. So I was doing like different feed trials and seeing if that helped the animals gain weight. And if they did that, what did the vessels look like then under the microscope? So just kind of making it a little more full circle once I was at Purina.
Y'all, she's so smart.
You like, I don't know what you said.
Somebody, I'm like, look, I mean, so high level. I know you worked in science and you're super smart. Like that's look, and I did not pass science in school, so basically, y'all, like she's smarter than me, and I felt dumb for a moment. But look, just know she's fine. You were here now, so you are now a full-time entrepreneur. So you did all of this work. You recently, like maybe what, like a year or so? Have you been full-time?
2 years. 2 years now.
2 years. Been full-time.
Oh wait, no, sorry, 1 year. 2 years since I opened a business. 1 year full-time. Yeah, my bad.
So 2 years opening in business. I really want to get into this. We're gonna talk about motherhood and stuff, but I think it's just such a different dynamic to come from this perspective right now. So you went from having this career, moving here, you work for a pretty sizable company. I'm sure you had a nice salary, and then you felt like, how did you come into Buzzbull Creamery? Because I know it's a franchise. So tell us the story. How did you? Yeah, give us the details.
Yeah, so like most people in 2020, started to reevaluate my life. COVID world was ending. My son was born April of 2020. So great time to have a kid, right? So it's just like while I'm at home, working from home, reevaluating what's important to me, I realized I didn't like the monotony of my daily life. It's like, okay, I've achieved all my goals pretty much by the time I was 25. What's next? And I just kept struggling with what's next. I don't want this to be my life where every single day is the same. Like my career's cool, but something is still missing for me. I love my child, of course, but I still want to work. Like there are other things I want to do. So I left my marriage. I bought a condo. I pretty much restarted my whole life. And in that time, I found the Buzzbull concept. So once I saw it and we use liquid nitrogen to make ice cream, everything kind of is like a mini science experiment. So the nitrogen was just a cool aspect. Everybody loves ice cream. As you know, we have dairy free. We can infuse it with alcohol. So I was like, this is just such an innovative way, like a cool twist on an old favorite. Everybody loves ice cream. This is something where I can still incorporate my science brain and just make people happy all day. So I just straight up took the leap and was like, I'm gonna buy one. No restaurant experience, no nothing. I just dove straight in and I haven't looked back.
Look, y'all. So some of y'all got bit by the entrepreneur bug in 2022. But I out some aspects. I think a lot of us were reevaluating our lives in COVID, and just going there for a second. I think so many of us don't realize how much we are even dealing with like some mental health crises from going through COVID. Like, I just want to highlight to you moms who became moms and entrepreneurs and moms in COVID, you're not alone, right? And like over 500,000 people lost their lives in the US alone. So all of us were affected by COVID, where it made you look at like, okay, is this how I want to live the rest of my days?
Exactly.
Like, is this Monday? Like, not that it's bad. And I think people like, again, the internet and all the memes and stuff made entrepreneurship look so sexy and sweet, and it's the best thing ever. It's far from, like there's definitely complications and things that you go through. But I could say, I know for myself, I left my last position in 2021 because I was having my child, and it was just no longer, the lifestyle wouldn't favor what I needed to be a present parent, and when I was making more money in my business. So I was like, look, y'all gonna keep playing with me. found out Miss Run found it. Like it was one of them situations. And I'm glad I
Hmm.
took that leap because I found that entrepreneurship has taught me more than my schooling in any position. Now you got some higher level stuff over there that might not be the same, but
It's still the same. It's still the
look,
same.
you still feel the same? Do you feel like, dang, you just see life totally different being an employee, going from an employee now, like you have a team of people that work for you that, livelihoods like are tied to the productivity of your company. How does that feel?
It is kind of daunting because I am such a self-motivated person. It took me a while to understand everybody ain't like that. Everybody's not like me, right? I'm not raising or leading a team full of 12 people just like me. So it took me a while to kind of understand how to work with different people. And, to me, I can leave like a one sentence thing and I can come off as really blunt sometimes. So I had to understand how my tone impacted people, how that impacted the workplace, and kind of those things. So that was a hard lesson to learn. Even being a manager in corporate America is still a different set of people. Managing a bunch of scientists, we all kind of the same, right? So that
Mm.
was probably the biggest, I won't say hurdle, let's say opportunity that I needed.
That's good. I like how you rephrase this opportunity. Like, I definitely feel like entrepreneurship has brought out a lot of the things that, like, a lot of traumatic stuff for me too. It's like, oh, girl, do you know that's a little bit of people pleasing over here? That's not feeling enough. Like,
Right.
price, like a lot of those other things. So I definitely feel like this has been one of those eye-opening experiences. But for you, I think is I was an entrepreneur before I became a mom, right? Like, so I was in this thing like really deep in it. So my identity shifted a little bit as I became a mom. But you became an entrepreneur and a mom around the same time. Talk about that experience.
Man, I had a difficult pregnancy, um, hard recovery. I had a birth injury. A lot of people don't talk about stuff like that. It took me a very long time to recover. I'm talking like a couple years to recover from childbirth.
Mm.
And it was, as much as I love being a mom, I can't act like it was easy getting my son here, right? So then once you talked about being the present parent. I knew that's what I wanted to be. At the beginning, when he was first born in the 2020, it was fine. Everybody was working from home, didn't have to worry about daycare and all that stuff. I can just work from home. But when everything started to pick back up, and I was like, okay, he needs some social skills. He's literally sitting with me in meetings all day, every day. Like, he should probably be around some other kids. So when I did make the decision to enroll him in daycare, he was 16 months and he was so far advanced than all the other kids. He could already talk. He knew all his ABCs and numbers, and just like I didn't realize he was that far advanced. I mean, I felt like he was smart, right? But like I didn't see him in comparison to other kids until he got into daycare. And I feel like even though it was scary at the time, putting him in daycare really helped me see that I was not challenging him enough. And that's kind
Mm.
of how we ended up in private school with him being 2. And in private school, it was like, once the teachers and the um his teachers and administrators saw how intelligent he was, they were like, oh no, he needs a challenge. He needs a challenge. And then
Mm.
that I kind of let that lead me. Being a mom wasn't what I thought. Being married wasn't what I thought. So I was like, okay, God has a different plan for me, clearly, because I never thought I'd have a kid in private school. So I just kind of had to sit back and let him lead the way in a sense. And then that kind of corresponded with my entrepreneurship journey, whereas like that day at the shop, right? Everybody needs me there. I come home, somebody needs me. Like when do I get to need me? And those kind of things. But because he grew up seeing me work so hard and will grow up seeing me work so hard, it's just like because of the shop, I'm able to pour more into his education. And then because of his education and some of the leniency, he's able to be with me at the shop and like do small tasks. And so both of them have kind of formed my identity together. They kind of interweave.
A new identity from you being this super I'm gonna say ambitious, amazing student, like good with research, all of the things. So now it's like there's not really even any research you can do to be a parent for real, because it really
Right.
is not one size fits all, right? Like it's like we all out here trying to figure it out. All of you parents and experts out there, you're liars, because it's not one size.
Because I read every
It's
book
not one
that.
size fits all. And then on the other half too, in business too, even there's some industry experts that are pulling their hair out now because we're in a different economy. COVID broke everything. So I just want to, one, I feel like I want to give you flowers because I feel like you still show up. You always have a huge smile. And I know that every day can't feel like how you look, but you make it look easy. And I don't feel like we always should have to. But I appreciate that you're not a person that you go and you just bring bad energy no matter what you're going through. That matters because you never know. Like the energy is transferable. That's one thing. And then I even want to like kind of go back a little bit because you were talking about, having complications with childbirth. And I know for me, I didn't have complications with childbirth, but I had, a hell of a ride in postpartum that nobody talked about, right? And I think that
Mm,
that's something that I do want to go back and like, let's just spend some time there. Like, what happened during childbirth that took years to recover from? Because I personally never heard anybody mention it. Not to say it doesn't happen, but I think that us as women of color and coming from different backgrounds, we sometimes silence our pain. So I want you to talk about that because maybe somebody else was like, man, like I didn't even realize this was happening to me and how I needed to take better care of myself or whatever the case may have been.
mm.
What happened?
So the entire pregnancy, I carried him super low. I was one of those, you could not tell I was pregnant till I was solid 8 months. He just looked like might have been a burrito, not really sure it's a baby in there. But until I was 8 months, it's like, okay, that's definitely a baby. So he was always sitting super, super low on my pelvis. So I had round ligament pain, all type of joint pain early. I mean, first trimester. People were like, round ligament pain, you're not even big enough to have that. And I'm like, I'm telling you, I had all sorts of joint issues through my pelvis. So when he was born, my hip actually broke, but I didn't know it because I got an epidural and I pushed him out. I was glad I had to, but I thought, it was. I had the best birth experience I felt like I could have in the middle of COVID. The team still, supported all my needs. I was worried. All that was fine. Then about a week later, I was like, I can still barely feel my legs. Is that normal? So I was like, no, your epidural shouldn't last that long. And by the time you got home, it should have been gone. I was like, I'm feeling so much numbness. And then it took weeks for me to regain feeling in my legs. And once I did it, it wasn't right. I was like, every time I move, it's not quite right. I was like, I can't explain it, but it's not right. And everybody's like, oh, well, you just gave birth, this and that, your body is adjusting, this and that. So after about 4 months, I went to a different, I can't remember the sequence exactly. If I was at my OBGYN and she referred me. Either way, I went to a pelvic floor therapist and they said I had SPD, which is, oh, I'm gonna mess it up, symphysis pubis dysfunction, something like that. It's just like a collection of symptoms when your hips misalign during birth and they never really get back right. So basically, all my joints got loosened and didn't tighten back up the right way. So I had to do about 6 months of pelvic floor therapy, which sucks. Um, it was necessary, but it sucked. And then all that, trying to breastfeed and feeling like, we were talking about postpartum, why is everything so hard for me? Is it just me? Other people had kids at the same time. Their story looks different, and then you start to internalize it like, what is it about me? Am I not woman enough? Can I not handle this? This is what my body's supposed to do. Were kind of the things I was telling myself. But I mean, it's still something I deal with. It's just that just is what it is for me. After I finished the therapy, they said I had, about 90% motion in my hips, which is fine, whatever. I'm just at that point I was over it. But they said if you were to have another pregnancy, everything you felt will be present on day one. I was like, oh no, he's the only child. You mean I could be newly pregnant and feel this postpartum pain? Oh no. Nope, nope, nope. So that going through that, as much as I thought I wanted a bunch of kids, it's like my body can't take it. That's it. That's all.
And wow. Okay, y'all. So much. And I'm saying y'all because I know like I wanted this to be like a one, but like I know we talked about pieces of this. How did what was the process for you? Like, okay, dang, he's the only child. Like I had like sometimes also there's grief coming from our expectations of what's what could have been. And when you
Mm-hmm.
realize it's not gonna be that, what was that like?
It was a lot. So for me, after I started, this was about the time I started therapy and unpacking a lot of other things. But at the time, again, just gave birth, COVID. I lost my one and only grandparent from my entire life, and I had a career change. So as we're talking through, like, is this just postpartum or is this real depression? Like, which part of the grief have you not dealt with? And then even now, I don't know. It was all of it. It was too much at once. So, I just kind of internalized it and let it go until I couldn't. So about that time, what was I, like 4 months? I mean, no one's like super clear on when postpartum ends. It could be like anytime after you give birth, right? So my primary care doctor started me on a low dose of antidepressants. A month later, we doubled the dose. And then, now, that was, I had to come to terms with that too. Like, have I always struggled with depression and anxiety, or is that related to childbirth? And then again, through therapy, I'm like, oh, this is something I always struggle with. I just can no longer ignore it. So I had to reorient my brain to stop feeling like something's wrong with me and just be like, no, it's okay. We just need to tweak a couple chemicals, rewire some signals in the brain, and then you can go on about your life. And that's still where I'm at. My last partner wanted me to wean off the meds, and I was breastfeeding, so why would I take extra stuff while I'm breastfeeding? It could impact the baby, and this and that, and like really unsupportive, all that kind of stuff. So for me to still choose myself through all of that, it was tough. It was really tough, and the
And good
loss
for
of like
you.
you
Like
expected.
when you man, we like people. We have this notion that women should be just overly sacrificing. And what about you? Like there are women who are struggling every single day. So I just want to one again shout out to you for advocating for yourself. Like no, this is something that I need. We can't be good mothers if we aren't taking care of ourselves. So look, baby, gonna get some formula. That's it.
Literally.
Okay, I will let you finish because look, I done had some breast feeding. Like,
Man.
look, y'all, this mom like, oh, well, it's gonna be better for the baby. The baby will be smart and all of these things. But look, sis, I'm struggling.
Right. I finally got to the point where I'm like, yeah, I got to the point where I'm like, well, when you're ready to pump blood out of your nipples, you can breastfeed my baby. And then people are like, oh, I'm like, yeah, I was having a hard time. Okay. So no, it was not selfish of me to put my child on formula. He ate so much, couldn't produce enough. I tried everything. Oh, get more sleep, exercise. The two answers
House
to everything
back.
on earth, right? Yeah, and it's just like it's not happening for me. I don't have to keep going through this. Like he's upset because he ain't getting enough. I'm upset because I'm pumping, straight blood, and his dad over here telling me you just have to try harder. And it's just like, no.
Wow. All right. Now we gotta go into like postpartum recovery, unsupportive partner, eventual divorce in the midst of all of this.
Man.
Yeah.
Sorry, my neighbor's dog is barking really loud. I don't know if you can hear it, but
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. It was a lot. It was a lot. Opening the business in the midst of all of that. It felt like for a point like I'm failing in every aspect of my life. Like nothing is going right. It's kind of how it felt. And it was like I'm doing all this work, I'm doing all these things, but either I'm not spending enough time at home, let him tell it, or I'm not spending enough time for my team at the shop. So if I try to spend more time at the shop, he's gonna be mad. If I try to take a night off, they're gonna feel like I left them hanging and out to dry, and then I'm not gonna have no more team. So it was just kind of like, how do I do this? And I, so I'm like, I just need some help. I'm still the one doing all the childcare, right? Taking him to and from daycare. And um, he didn't like that. He was just like, "You're gone too much." And I was like, "I'm working 2 jobs, trying to support us. My body doesn't feel right. My mind's not that good either. Like, I'm pushing myself to the brink." And he never saw it. So I finally said, "I don't even need you to do anything more for me. I just need you to focus on you and kind of like leave me alone a little bit. Just give me some space to, kind of work something out." And then in that space, I was like, it is way more peaceful here. And went from there. I won't say downhill. I'm gonna say uphill. It went uphill from there.
Yeah. It's really something like I don't. I'm on my second marriage, y'all, so I don't think I'm coming here like saying all of these things like because everybody's like right. But I know that experience of being with an unsupportive partner. And I also like my first husband was a narcissist and my dad was too. So like I had a lot of like self-sabotaging moments for myself because whenever I would get to certain levels of getting attention, notoriety, or things were going well in my life, something would happen in my marriage. Usually when I say something will happen, oh, here's a baby. Oh, here's, multiple affairs. Here's, oh, we're moving across the country.
Mm.
Here's this. It was always something that was just so gut wrenching for me. And I felt like at one point of my life, like that's all I deserve because at least, girl, you're living good. Like, 6-figure incomes, we live in nice places, like it, those things. But I was so mentally stressed. And I think that enough women don't really prioritize, like, y'all, it ain't worth the ring at the end of the
Ow.
day. If you are suffering in silence, if you're going through things where you mentally like are not in a good place, it's not like we have to learn to love ourselves enough to put ourselves in better situations because eventually when you heal and and you're building from a place of healing and putting your mask on first, the right man could come in your life, if that's what you choose.
I'm
Or here's the
dead.
thing, y'all, ain't nothing wrong with being by yourself neither.
Not for real.
It ain't nothing wrong. So I just, yeah, like I feel like as Black women, we don't have enough conversations about like, oh, well, this man ain't this and that. But like also, where's our self accountability? Where is putting our own mask? Where is like, are you tolerating things that aren't, you know, um, healthy for you in the first place? And then you
Mm-hmm.
expect somebody to come. It's like leaving that could also be hard because one, you were together for a long time. You said, like y'all had kind of grew up together, and
Mm-hmm.
also you started a business and you had a child, and then boom. What is?
And I go ahead.
No, go ahead. Talk to me. Talk to me.
It was you talking about that accountability piece, and for a while it was like I was stuck in that feeling like the victim, like, why would you treat me this way? Why is this happening? This and that. And then through therapy, I was like, no, I allowed this. Like,
Ooh.
I let it get here. And I told him that. I was like, it's my fault because I accepted below the bare minimum from you all this time. And now, as a grown woman who is a mother, who is a business owner, who has different priorities in my 30s that I did, in my late teens or early 20s, much less last year, I was just like, I haven't taught you how to love me at this stage in my life because I don't love myself yet. And I was just telling him like I did the work, like I all those hard conversations, we did that, and I was just like, I need more time to learn to love me. And he was just kind of like, well, what am I supposed to do? It's like, I mean, I hope you would, support me on this healing journey and this and that. And he was just like, it sounded like, I have to adjust my life because you want to be selfish right now. And it was like, okay. So it's just like, I took accountability. I said, I led us here because I put the team on my back for so long. As soon as I said I'm tired, it was like, wait, no, we don't have to do no work. You do all the work. What you mean you tired? So it was just like, I don't want to keep doing this.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, I hope that if someone is like watching this right now and you have been like in a similar situation that you can draw like some strength to know that it's not you. And then often we haven't been taught these skills, growing up.
Right.
like we just see the cute pictures, or you might hear horror stories of like, but you don't know the full picture of what it is. But that self accountability and learning to love yourself and learning to see yourself as, God created you, all of those things, it matters so much in relationships. And then coming to motherhood, we are raising humans who are going to be what they see, not what we say, but they're gonna be what they see. So it's just like I even want to employ like most like we got to work, and the work is messy, and the work is hard, and we want to quit. But if we don't do the work, what are we passing on?
And that's exactly it, Even now, once my son and I moved to our condo and I would have a breakdown, I didn't try to hide anything from him, but I just tried to help him understand you can feel a lot of emotions and still be okay. So I would just say, like, mommy's having some big emotions. Mommy needs 5 minutes. You go in your room. I'll come in there in 5 minutes. Mommy just needs a quick alone time. And then I just like release whatever I have to release. And then he'll say, do you feel better now? Do you want a hug? And it's like that lets me know he understands the emotional intelligence. And that's like really the main thing I want to teach him. So I'll tell him when he does try to throw a temper tantrum, I'll say, what's really the problem? Are you upset about something that you're not telling me? Did something happen at school? He'll say, well, I wanted a blue fig bar and you gave me a red one. All right. But it's like to him, that was a huge deal. So I'll say, next time, just let me know that you don't want a red one. You don't have to scream and cry. Just say, actually, I'd like a blue one. And he was like, I can do that. So it's like I see those nuggets that I, instilled in him coming out. Because he'll say something like, actually, I don't think we should do this right now. It's like, okay, I taught you to speak up, but we still gonna do it. But yeah.
Man, one vocabulary. Okay, how old is he?
He just turned 4 a couple weeks ago.
Yo, who child say actually? Okay. I got a 3-year-old. I ain't there yet. Look, when I cross here, I'll get here. But excuse me. Like, yes, for the emotional intelligence mom, round of applause, because it's some grown folks that don't have emotional intelligence.
And I feel like I didn't have it, the majority of my life. So it was just like some simple things that, I don't blame my parents or anything, but it's just like some simple things I could have been taught early on could have made me more prepared for some of these other situations. Yeah. So even when it comes down to, he's a little boy, right? So he always wants to race or to wrestle or whatever. And I don't be letting him win. So he'll lose and say, no, I wanted to win. I say, you got to work harder next time. Sometimes he'll be sad and he'll go, let's do it again. I'm going to win this time. And so it's just like letting him know you can work hard and achieve what you want, but you got to work for it.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah, like I just learned something. I'm noting that. Stop letting your kids win, because child, sometimes I'll be like, okay, I ain't all the way mentally here. All right, whatever you want. But I love the fact that you said, well, you have to work harder. Because I feel like the generation right after us, Ellen, they a little entitled.
And I refuse to raise an entitled Black boy in St. Louis. Nope.
That's real. That's real. I'm noting that when I'm putting that in my mommy bucket. Like, you gotta earn it. Like, work harder. Like, what's that next level? We done went some places today, Ellen. We gonna wrap soon. So, what's something that we didn't talk about that you would love for, like, just another, like, encouraging another mom who's watching this, whether she is going through a divorce, whether she's just starting a business, whether she's we didn't talk about private school at all, child. We didn't talk about private school, y'all. So let me go there. But before we go there, we're gonna go to private school. Was there anything other than private school that you wanted us to chat about?
Yeah, you touched on it a bit about just kind of like feeling like we're alone and everything. Anytime I let a glimpse of my home life show, everybody had a story. Even with you, Brittany, I remember vividly at the WashU diverse women's thing. We were talking, and as soon as we left, I just broke down, and I was like, I never actually told anybody that I was going through a divorce. You were like, how are you here smiling? I was like, gonna make some money. I don't know, but it's like as soon as I started to be a little bit more upfront, posting memes on Facebook about stuff like it's okay to love yourself, or if you're going through this alone, whatever. And the outpouring of support, I was not prepared for. People I haven't talked to since high school was like, hey, looks like you're having a hard time. I went through something similar. You can call me if you want. And when people say that, sometimes if it's in the moment, I'm gonna call because let me unpack it, right? But so many people reached out, like, I've been through that, I've been through this, we can talk about it. I didn't know you were going through that. I didn't tell anybody I was going through this. So I would say for anybody watching, don't be afraid to just speak up. If you see, especially anybody, who knows Brittany, like, that meaning we're all connected some kind of way, right? You're either a mom or entrepreneur, like, so it's like there are groups of women, almost any woman, I dare say, who's been through, who is a mom or has done any of these, would be happy to just listen if that's all you need.
Yeah. And sometimes it is just unpacking it and letting it go and releasing it. I thank you even for sharing that with me that because I feel like I was like, oh, I mess with her now. Because some people like to put on facades, right? Like vulnerability is something that's super important for me because I'm a person, I'm very transparent and I'm open and I am a relationship person. So when I mess with you, I mess with you. That's just it. We go together, right? So I feel like that deepened, our relationship that we were developing at the time. And I seen the light switch go off for you when I said that. You were like, I don't know. And you was like trying to like, just think like imagine how many people are going through life on autopilot. Like we ain't talking about it. We just going like we gonna numb. And that's how a lot of these things like our autoimmune diseases and getting sick, like those things start to manifest because and I'm speaking from experience, y'all. I ain't trying to talk about nobody else. I'm on me, right? I will get sick and sick and sick because it's like, oh, what am I like? Why am I doing all of this? What's really going on here? What am I trying to mask? And I have to take time to sit with myself to really look at the root cause and not treat the symptoms. So yeah. So we might have to even come back and do a part 2 about private school, y'all. But I know for me, all of y'all who think us entrepreneurs out here balling. Pay for private school, you understand why our nails and hair ain't always done, okay?
I'm gonna look like this every time. My head is gonna look like this every time.
Me and Timo and Amazon go together. I will buy me a hat real quick. I cut off them locks. I feel like I was going through a mommy crisis. I'm sick of this. The baby took all my edges and they just think my locks wasn't luscious no more. Like all the things that we don't talk about. I was like, okay, this is something I could do for me. I'm gonna put me a budget aside and I'm gonna play a different hair. And that's what I do. That's my self-care for the moment, until I get bored with it. But yeah, what okay, what was your process in choosing your private school? Like how did you get to the school that you're once you don't have to reveal your son's school? I think that we should have some, privacy for you. But how did you decide on the location that you take him to?
Yeah. So my first house was in Normandy School District, and I know that school district, a lot of people come from it, but as an outsider, just looking at the numbers, that's all I see is numbers. It's not up there, right? So once he got in preschool and I could see he was so far ahead of his peers, the principal of his school then said, I'm going to recommend him to check out a few of these schools because I can tell you for sure, if he's going to go, you're going to lose him in public school. He won't be challenged. He won't be motivated. He's not going to excel. Somebody like him, you got to catch him early. And I was, I could see it. I could see he was already, I won't say bored, but was more advanced in his class. When he was 2, he was in the class with the 5-year-olds, answering questions for them and stuff like that. So I saw that so early on. So I was like, private school? I mean, I didn't go to private school. Why would you go to private school? It's kind of my thought at the time. Like, well, we'll just move, to Ladue because you can just do that, right? And go to public school. That was my thought at the time. Life humbled me. But so if it wasn't for his school administrators planting that seed and making some connections for us, I wouldn't even know where to start. So we interviewed at one school. He got to do what do they call it? Whenever you go and like spend the day there, he did that. He didn't get
Like
into
a
that school,
tour.
and I was pretty crushed. Yeah. I was pretty crushed about that, but I was like, okay, he's just two. It was just one private school. Let's look at some others. So I would ask around. Hey, I was searching. I asked my friends who are educators, do you know anything about this school? Is it something I should look at? Is it a hard yes, hard no? So the school he's at now, I mean, they snatched him up. It's the classic when one door closes so another can open. As soon as they met Ben, they were like, oh, he's got to be here. He has got to be here. And they made it happen. They gave him a very generous tuition scholarship, and every single person at the school knows him in every grade. Like, I'm like, how do you know these girls in fourth grade? But it's like the school is just such a great fit for him. And I've seen his social skills flourish a little more as well. So, I mean, it took some trial and error. You really have to get different opinions because, do you want to go the Catholic public school route? Do you want to go charter school? Is it worth the price and all these things? How are you going to pay for it? And I had an honest conversation with the head of the school. I was like, I don't know how I'm going to keep paying tuition, but I'm going to find a way. I'm going to find a way. And it's like you were talking about, people think us as entrepreneurs are just balling. It's like, no, it's not the case. My store makes a lot of money, and the money goes right back into the store. Like, it does not hit my pocket. Once the bills are paid, ain't nothing left. Like, no, that's not how this goes. It's a labor of love the first few years.
At least right now, I foresee.
Right. I'm gonna get there, but
yeah. But that's how it grows.
I do not regret private school for him. We've been there. This is coming to the end of his first full academic year, and I mean the school is 40 minutes away from where we live, and I just found ways to make the drive there fun. So we talk about every landmark. He reads every sign, so that the drive, we're not just like sitting in silence waiting to go to school or anything. But I just incorporated that into my day. I gotta leave the house at this time to get him here, and then I'm gonna drive another 45 minutes to get back to my store. Then I'm gonna go right back and pick him up. We're gonna go back to the store, and then we're gonna go home. So it's just like, this is what I'm doing. This is what's necessary. This is the best for my child right now.
Man, and that's a sacrifice I feel like more moms should be willing to make. We got to figure out what puts them in a better position and not what just makes them comfortable. You put him somewhere that will challenge him, and while he's being challenged academically and intellectually, you also are being challenged. Like, okay, I got to figure out these numbers. I got to figure out this commute. You got to figure, and it is that process of figuring it out. My math logic is, look, I'm gonna pay for all of this primary school because these schools suck. I'm just the school district is similar to your school district. You was up. There's no way in hell. Like, I'm just like, there's no way in hell. Put my baby there, right? And I did the parents as teacher program, and my parent educator in the district. That's why I ain't gonna say what school district it is. I asked her, I was like, would you send your child to this early childhood center? And she said no. And she works there, right? So when I think about that, and it would be more convenient, it's in the area. We even have a relative that works there on Dave's side. We're not really like, all of that. But to make a long story short, I could send my child to free now because she's of age and go there, but I'm not going to put my child in that environment. And the environment that she's in now, I feel like I could still improve upon. Like, I could find a different private school because there's some things that I would want to correct, but I know that what I'm giving her is better than the bare minimum, and I'm willing to be inconvenienced for her to have setting her up this way, right? She ain't got no Jordans, y'all. If it's some name brand shoes we went to once upon a child, I'm just gonna let you know I will go find a good deal. But this was a sacrifice I was willing to make, and I hope that more parents it is possible. Like she said, she got a scholarship. Unfortunately, they ain't had none in her school, but the tuition it's okay. I make it work. We making it work. It's somebody car note and insurance, but that's good. It is what it is. And we make it work. But I think that I know I've seen children that came out of private schools and how they are so much more competitive, and challenged and confident, and they have relationships, and and they're poured into differently. And that's not for everybody. Like you said, if you had moved to Ladue, it would have been a different situation. Might be some racial stuff out there, but you're from Texas, so like, But I will never put my child in the all white district, the sprinkle with pepper. I will never, because I'm from St. Louis, and if you don't know, Google it, sis. That's what I'm gonna say. Like you gotta pick a side, So, man, this has been so good. This conversation went there. Tell people how they can connect with you. Tell us the location, address, and where they can come and get some ice cream. I heard like you doing like parties and stuff there now, and people booking.
Like, we're doing it big.
Yeah. Okay. So tell us all of the things. How can people tap in with you, connect with you as a mom, and connect with you as a business owner?
Sure. So on all socials, it's Buzzbull St. Charles Mo. We're located in St. Charles, right off of Freedoms in 94. Anyone knows where the games is? We're like a block away from there in St. Charles. You can connect with me on Facebook. My name is just Ellen Tisdale. Keep it simple. But if you reach out on any of the socials, it's going to go to me. I'm the only one who controls them, except for the ones that you do, Brittany. But yeah, so those are the best ways to get in contact. Or stop by the store. We could chat. I can give you my cell and we can talk more. So my new store is just under 5,000 square feet. So so far we've done a baby shower, a birthday party, a fundraiser, and a repast. So we just had someone reach out wanting to do a wedding reception. So we have tons of space for everything. So whatever your ideas are, and we got parking. That's a big one. We got parking too.
Parking, y'all. Like our first location was parking challenge, but it was beautiful. Yeah. It was parking challenge.
Had to start somewhere.
Man, I love it. Her new location is amazing, y'all. The ice cream is all to die for. They got buzzed options, unbuzzed options. Food trucks come, and you got all this space. So like, look, y'all, if y'all looking for something family friendly, fun, that has adult options, I want y'all to go check out Ellen. Thank her when you see her for this episode, because the girl gave us the gems. Okay, it was all real and raw, and we appreciate it. And Ellen, I want to give you flowers publicly. This is something I've been doing in every single episode, but I feel like Black women are not given their flowers enough. Moms are not given their flowers enough for just existing, because life is not as easy as people make it look on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Right? When them filters come off, and when we pull back all of the things, and we're really like sitting in what life really is, we can choose. Like, and what I love about you is, no matter, like, I didn't know all these other things about your past, and I didn't know these things, but when I encounter you, I feel love. I feel your peace. I feel your contentment. I feel your self-love transforming, and radiating. And I wish nothing but love, abundance, everything that your heart desires. I wish that for you, and I hope that you know that you have a friend in me. Okay. You have a friend in me. They're here at Rich Mama's Club. Thank you so much for coming to join us today, y'all. Look, if you are wondering what is Rich Mama's Club, what is that energy like? Like, I want to have more conversations like this. How can I meet friends, that are about this life? I want you to check out Rich Mama's Club. We are a social club for moms who need village, right? I provide a space where women who are the go-tos for the go-to, and in this space, you get to take off that super mom cape. You get to come in and be loved and be cherished and be poured into just as much as you pour into other people. And we would love to have you. So look, if you want to learn more, just stay tuned.
Hey mama, I know you enjoyed this episode. I just wanted to let you know that you should tap into community, because you need friends. You deserve to be around people who love, support, and accept you for who you are, and can hold your hand along this journey. So check out Rich Mama's Club. Thanks for watching.